Should we do this? We should do this. Good morning. I am Jeff Blankenburg, and it is a Monday. It's a very, very busy Monday today, too. I literally have something to do, some meeting to be in, some activity to participate in between now and 7 p.m. Eastern. It is 10 a.m. Eastern right now, so that's 9 hours. But the nice thing is that I get to spend the first 2 days kind of kicking off the day bumping around with some code and playing with some things and changing some camera angles. Let's see if we can do that real quick. There we go. That's a little bit better. Um, yeah, that's kind of the thing for today. So as we discussed on Friday, we are building a chatbot, and um, in doing so, we need to we need to update and fix a bunch of stuff, but more than anything, we're going to build a bunch of new stuff. And so I guess the best way to really get into this, I wrote some notes for myself about some things that I want to work on. So if we look at this, I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see that I have down here, this is what we did on Friday. We tweaked all of this stuff so that we could just say, if there's an answer intent. Now, this may seem weird. Jeff, I thought you were working on a chatbot. In fact, the way that this works is I am taking any command from anybody that's running this chatbot on their channel, and if the command starts with Alexa, so if the first word in the message that someone sends to the chatbot is the word Alexa, then I grab that command, and I think we can see that here, right? If the command name starts with Alexa in lowercase, so it doesn't matter how you capitalize it, if it starts with Alexa, then we're going to use that, and then we're going to replace Alexa with just nothing, because we want to get rid of the Alexa part of things, and then we're going to pass it off to a chatbot. Oh, we've already got some color changing happening this morning. That's fun. I'm curious how someone's doing that. They must be doing it from the Alexa channel. That would be my guess, because I don't see it in the chat. So my guess is there are people watching on the Amazon Alexa channel, which I should probably go. Let's go do this. Twitch, Amazon Alexa. I think I can be, if I go to chat on this, moderator. It's even hosting Karthik right now. So very curious. I'm interested to know, and if you don't mind revealing yourself, I'd love to know the answer to that. But someone's changing the light without being on my channel chat, which is totally fine. I'm just it has to be on the Alexa channel or it has to be here. So I have both of those loaded now. Let's go to mine, and I'm glad that lights are changing, but it's weird to not see the command come through. So I don't need to watch me. But I would like to. Good morning, W. Giorgio. I have the chat loaded up here. Beautiful. I have a whisper from somebody. Cool. That's from Saturday. So Gold Zulu sent me a message. If you guys didn't know, there was a conference called the Live Coders Conference on Saturday for a good chunk of the day. And I got to give a session there on, Karthik, good morning. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for bringing some folks over here. I'm sure it's some of the familiars, but hopefully there's some new folks too. And we are working on a Alexa chatbot. So that's the thing that I'm working on today. It runs on Karthik's channel just as much as it runs on my channel. And the idea is to be able to do a bunch of stuff. So being able to say, Alexa, tell me about this thing, is the thing that it does now. But what I want to be able to do is tweak that up to be able to do some of these other things. And the stuff that we talked on, stuff that we talked about on Friday was the speech con and the sound effect. We never implemented these, but we talked about them. And then I have in the skill, the Alexa skill that we've built over the last few weeks, I do have this somewhere in here. It's alphabetical, so probably down this way. This personal info intent handler, and this is the one that handles things like, what is my location, what is my address, what is my phone number, what is my name. The chatbot isn't going to know any of that stuff. but it can know some stuff about you, right? Because this chatbot runs on Twitch, and as we've done in, thank you, Kevin. Again, it was kind of the basics, and I actually personally didn't feel like it went very well at all. But I'm glad to hear that you felt that it was useful. The personal info intent for the chatbot could be some of the things that I've built in my own chatbot, right? What is this user's age on Twitch, right? How long have they been on Twitch? Or how many followers do they have? And maybe we could have some other personal information that's related specifically to your Twitch handle. And so if you say, Alexa, who is Kevin Evans, as an example, that might be a pretty cool thing to be able to do to piece together what does that response look like and how does that thing work. So I just realized I gotta fix something. I'll show you guys this. Oh my gosh, this is so big. How does that look? Actually, it fits. Whoa, that fits pretty well there, but it's a little too much. I'm recording some stuff today, and I need a screen for it, and so it looks like this is going to be the screen for it. The Twitch live coder thing. No, it was on the live coders Twitch channel, and it was all day. Like it started at 7 a.m. Eastern, and it ran until I think 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time as well. Anyway, this thing is just sitting here and it's gigantic. But I need to use this later today, so we're just going to pop it up right there. Hopefully that's not too distracting. I don't even think it's in frame. Good. But I need what I'm trying to do right now is get the wrinkles out of it. It's so big. It's got to be 8 feet long. Okay, so we're building this chatbot and we're thinking about what our personal info stuff could be. And I know that Gold Zulu, who doesn't seem as here yet, Gold Zulu has found some interesting resources for finding out information about a user's Twitch handle, right? So I think he helped me find some of the things for how long you've been on Twitch and for your followers. And so those are easy. I have those things already done. We'll have to build them into the chatbot. I have them done for the Alexa skill or for my own personal chatbot. Karthik, I totally agree. There were just about 3,000 people watching, I think, which was pretty cool. It was a lot, right? There's a lot more pressure, and surprisingly, it didn't sound like many of the speakers, or most of the speakers, got a lot of followers out of it. That was something that I was actually thinking would happen, was to have, out of 3,000 people, maybe get 200 new followers or something. But it seems like we only got a couple. And if we check that. Let's check our current status. I'm over 400, so we got there, but I think I only got 4 or 5 followers, which is, it's fine. I'm not someone that's hung up on followers. I think it's kind of cool to be able to see that number continue to go up, and it makes it easier for me to justify my time in spending time here doing all of this cool stuff when I'm gathering people and having conversations. I think some of the coolest. Oh my gosh, Akalish Awasti, thank you for the follow. This is the kind of stuff I'm looking for, right? Not only do followers do that stuff, but it also allows us to have bigger conversations, right? Karthik and Kevin Evans and W. Giorgio and Gold Zulu and Urban Blaster and Oxygen Box and all the other people that come here on a regular basis. You guys have had conversations of your own. You've talked to each other individually. We're growing a community together. I like to be a catalyst for that. But I know that you guys are talking. I know there's been podcast episodes that have happened between some of you. And I think all of that is super, super awesome. So that's why I want to keep growing this stuff. I want there to be more of a community, more conversations happening. And if I can be your humble host, that's even better. But if it's happening someplace else, that's fine too. I'll go there. But I feel like I'm going to write some code. I'm going to build some things. Let's do it right here on stream. And if people show up and want to talk, I love it. Okay, so that's what we want to do with our chatbot, is to make our chat more interactive. And you have to remember that we're building a chatbot for Alexa channels. So I always have to keep that scope in mind. I have the Jeff Blankenbot. That thing's for all the sorts of fun things like the lamp behind me and some of the other goofier things that I do. But so this one has to be something that could run on any of my teammates' channels, which means they can't, they don't necessarily have a lamp behind them. They may not necessarily have a bunch of sound effects loaded on their machine. It needs to be kind of grab and go, run from anybody's machine, but have the chatbot be able to participate, which means we're not going to have it engaging with the stream per se, where like with mine, like we can play sound effects and things. But we should be able to do a lot of cool text interactions. Okay, so a couple of questions. W. Giorgio asks, is it possible that my Lambda can't figure out which interaction model to use? I don't think it necessarily works. At least I don't understand your question. That sounds like a question where it doesn't. I don't think it really works that way, right? Your interaction model happens first, and you have a list of intents like these. So if I go look at my NUS file, open, not there, open, and let's go look at my, where is it? I need to go up a folder. Alexa Dev Tips, skill package, skill.json. I just want to talk through this just for a second to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. And so then in here, I don't even want the skill.json. I wanted the NUS thing. Open, recent, open. I want the skill package, interaction models. What? Custom NUS. Okay, let's talk about this. So the first thing that a user does is they talk to their device, and then Alexa figures out which one of your intents the user's voice indicated they want, W. Giorgio. So in this case, it might be the cancel intent or the achievement intent, but it's based on the samples and slots that you put together. So you have all these samples and slots, and you push all of that content up to the Alexa portal, and you publish your skill. And then when users interact, they use this interaction model without knowing it to talk to your skill. And then you receive JSON from this that passes that content into your code. And then with your code, you can do anything you want, and you generate some speech that you want Alexa to say back to the user, and you pass that JSON back to Alexa, and she says the thing, prompting the user to participate in another intent. It's that nice circular motion that we have. So I don't know why your Lambda would need to figure out which interaction model to use, but my guess is you're saying, it seems like I'm not hitting an intent that should be hit, even though it exists. And in that case, yes, there is the possibility that you're using the wrong interaction model. There's a number of ways that can happen. If your skill is published, and you're using the skill from an account that isn't one of the developers on the account, then it's only going to use the live one. If you only have it in development mode, though, the only way to access it would be to be one of the developer accounts on that. And that's the only interaction model you could use. So I guess maybe I need a little clarification, W. Giorgio, about what exactly you mean or what you're experiencing, but it doesn't seem like your Lambda should have any knowledge of the interaction model really at all. Kevin Evans, I'm glad to see that you got an Echo Show set up over the weekend. They are super cool. And they do so many things, and I think one of the first things you'll find is you're like, I wish I could do this, or now I wish I could do this thing. Being able to make video calls on them is super handy when you just want to call a family member. You know, Father's Day was yesterday. It's my mother's birthday today, so I'll probably give her a call on her Echo just because it's a fun way to do it. But we generally do things on like FaceTime and stuff anyway, so video calling is pretty familiar. So if I have a handler that's only for APL, it says it can't find a suitable request handler. The only reason that can happen is because you don't actually have a handler that resolves to true when you pass that APL request in. So my guess for you is that you actually don't have an APL handler. So like if I look at this, like these are my handlers, right? And so these are my true-false statements. So if I look at this, if it's intent request and it's personal info intent, then we're going to do this stuff. My guess is it went through your list of handlers down here at the bottom, and maybe this is it too. Did you add your handler to this list down here at the bottom? Because if it's not here, it won't use it. Bye, Karthik. Take care, man. We'll see ya. Or yeah, you're using a different interaction model than the one that you think you're testing for. That's very possible. I do that in the dev console all the time. I can show you the mistake I make, developer.amazon.com, and if I run in here, I can come into here and I can look at this one, and I'm just gonna view it. You can see I'm still in review, by the way. Still reviewing it. We published it, what, Tuesday night? Wednesday? Maybe Wednesday? This is one of the things that I run into all the time. If you're developing your interaction model here, you can see that it defaults to English India for some reason. I don't know why it picks that one. It's not alphabetically the first. E-N, I-N, E-N, E-H-I-G, G-H-I. No. E-N-G-B would be alphabetically. E-N-A-U would be alphabetically first. I don't know why it picks E-N-I-N for me, but that's always the one that it defaults to, and then I have to flip over to E-N-U-S. So there's a number of reasons why you might have some confusion here, but I feel like it's definitely not your Lambda just seeing the wrong thing. There has to be something simpler than that, I think. It could be my love for India. Maybe that's it. It knows that I have a great appreciation for the people and the food of India. That's for sure. So maybe it could be detecting that. This is very good AI. Yeah, the other option, W. Giorgio, is you could look at this, which is what Gold Zulu is calling out. I just went away from it, but let's get rid of these. I don't need these. Delete. And delete. Make sure I'm getting the right one. Live coders. Yeah, these were samples that I built during my presentation on Saturday. I don't often work on a Saturday. That was kind of weird. I got a lot done during that time. Test. And what I really wanted to do was go to the Build tab. The other option you have, and you can see it flip back to India for me. I don't think there's a way to specify a default, but I always miss that this happens. So if you come in here and you choose intents, you can see that I have this Evaluate Model button right here. This is another way for you to easily see what your interaction model is going to do. And so if I say, tell me about Blankenburg, for example, you can see that it says, oh, I hit the answer intent and the slot value is Blankenburg. So this is a very easy way to identify, like, what is my interaction model doing? What is it actually hitting or catching? This should give you enough clue to then look at your code and say, why in the world am I not catching this? Or what is the thing that I'm getting? So take a look at that stuff, Kevin. Hopefully, not Kevin, I'm sorry, W. Giorgio. And make sure that you check that stuff too, I guess is my best piece of advice for you. Okay, back to the bot. So I was talking about the personal info intent handler. I think this is the first one that I want to build today, only because it's easy. And what I need to do is think about what people might say. So well, not people say about me doing it, but people might say to the chatbot when I'm doing it. So you can see that I have an answer intent. This thing is working as expected, which is really good news. Then I have this sound effect intent, and I have a speech con intent. And I haven't really done a good job of building those out yet, but we don't really need them yet either. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this the Twitch info intent, because that's really all we're operating off of. Twitch info intent. And I hit add. And then I'm going to say things like, boy, I don't even know how I'm going to handle this. Because if I say, like, who is W. Giorgio, or tell me about, that could get messy. Maybe that's not what I want to do. I don't really need an intent for this. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Let's think about this. If I get rid of the Twitch info intent, the moment I saw the slot stuff, I was like, oh, this actually isn't going to work, because I can't predict who's going to be there or how it's going to work, but I think we can do this another way. So the other way we could do this is I have this if statement here. If the command name starts with Alexa, then we get our command by trimming Alexa off and we pass it off to Lex. But we have the luxury of having commands. It's possible I could have commands. And if I'm going to do commands like followers and age, should I do that here? I think a lot of this is going to rely on the chatbot, but I think for what we're doing, I think that's okay. So maybe we do this. We take command name. Man, I kind of want this to work all the time with Alexa. Like, the thing that I'm trying to accomplish, just so you guys can see this, is Alexa, tell me about W. Giorgio, right? If I say something like that, what I want it to do, boy, that's gonna be tricky to run through Lex, because I just don't have slot values for all of your names, and that would be impossible because I would imagine we'd have a number of people, and what if you ask about somebody that isn't here right now? And so I don't know, how can I do that? I probably have. There's probably some way to call an API to see who's in the chat right now, but I don't really want to limit it to that either. So how do I know the difference when I say tell me about W. Giorgio or I say tell me about Blankenburg? Right? If I do that, she's going to look it up in the database and tell you about me. But I think what I'm just going to do is something like this. Age, Jeff Blankenburg. Thank you, Lord of Sound, for the red. So, how do I want to do that? How do I combine those all into Alexa commands? Because I don't know all of the names. I don't know that I could build a consistent model for all of your usernames. Yeah, I think for now we're just going to do it the old way, which is fine. So we have to come down here and we'll do else if command name dot two lowercase starts with something else. This will be our if it starts with followers, then we can do with the thing, right? Like so. And then if you say followers, then what I want to do is go do the thing. So we have handler here, and I have answer intent. Let's go look at the other chatbot code. Open, go to the Jeff Blankenbot file. And in here, we've broken a lot of this stuff down. So we have handler, we have Airtable, we have Lex. Where did I put the lookup for like followers? Followers. If you say age, oh, I have a thing called commands, apparently. Commands. The Lord of Sound, hey, I saw the lamp blinking 2 colors. Is that new? It's new-ish. What it indicates is that someone just followed me. So we get a blink like that when someone follows, but I don't know how delayed it is, because I think we had someone follow us like 10 minutes ago. and I think it's a relation to that. But I think that's what I set the blink up to do, is to blink when someone follows, just briefly. Okay, so we're gonna open one more file, I guess, and that's gonna be commands followers. What did I do in here? Okay. So I think we can probably take this as is. I don't think there's a lot to change about this, but we'll file, save as. Let's go to my project that we're working on right now, which is the Alexa chatbot. And we'll create a new folder called commands. And this one's going to be more descriptive. Ket Twitch followers. Okay. Save that. Also going to need inside commands. I'm going to need a new file called index.js. And that's going to have const get Twitch followers equals require get Twitch followers. Can't see what I'm doing, but it looks good. And then module.exports, and then an equal, and then that, and then we say get Twitch followers, like so. And so then this should look like that. Get Twitch followers takes args. YT, welcome back, man. Good to see you. We're working on our chatbot again. We're back to tweaking up an Alexa chatbot that can answer a bunch of questions in chat about Alexa-related things. So you can see some of it right now. Like if I say, Alexa, tell me about Alexa Live. Maybe she will. Or maybe not. Alexa, tell me about Blankenburg. Did I break it? I might have broken it. Nope, that works. I wonder why Alexa Live didn't work. Maybe I don't have any data in there. I thought that I did. So we have this get Twitch followers. This function here needs to be get Twitch followers. And this needs to be get Twitch followers on the way out. Get Twitch followers, like so. All of that should be great. And then we're doing a bunch of things to say this needs to be Amazon Alexa for this one, because we want to see that number, not my default. But all of the rest of this looks pretty good. I don't think I need... We're going to get rid of all this stuff for now. I am using Lodash, so that's good. So we'll trim it down to that. And then we'll come back to our... Not this one. We'll come back to bot, and we'll look at what we need to do. So we just need to return... No. We need to do a client.say. Is that right? Client.say. No. Yeah, I guess I can do that. Client.say target. And then I guess I'll need a second line. We'll do const follower text equals commands dot get Twitch followers. That didn't work because I haven't included it. So let's do that. Const commands. Command? Yeah, command. Equals require command. Except I called it commands, didn't I? Commands. So inconsistent. So inconsistent. Okay. So then I should be able to say commands.get Twitch file. None of that is working because I called it commands down here. Commands. Command, get Twitch followers. Look at that, I'm going to pass in args. What in the world is args? All I really need, let's look at what I really need inside that function. I need username. And that's it. And if I don't pass one, then that's fine, because I'll use Amazon Alexa as the default. So I just need the user's username, which seems like that might be what I was passing in anyway. So the user's username is target context message self. What is, can we see one of the other messages that came through? Target is just the channel, that's where we want to broadcast. What the user's username is username. So I think it's just context.username. So we should be able to say right here, target, no, context.username. Like so. And then this should be target and follower text. Does that work? Does that actually work? Let's go look at what get Twitch followers actually does. It gets that information and it responds and says, this person currently has our followers. So I probably need to reply to the user, and I can do that by doing this. Where we do something like this, context.username. And then follower text goes right after it. And then a closing tick, like so. So I think that will work. That's to be seen, but now I should be able to say, I should get 2 responses on this. Followers, Jeff Blankenburg. I was expecting 2 replies, and the reason for that is because I have this bot running also. So what did we do over here? We got an error. That's what we got. D-log is not defined. Okay, well that's fine. I thought I got rid of all those. D-log is right here. Starting it back up. Let's try again. We should get 2 responses to this. Perfect. One is object promise, which is garbage, and the other one is the Jeff Blankenbot. So Amazon Alexa is responding now with that, which is super cool, but we're not responding with the appropriate content, and it's because I'm not awaiting. So if I do an await right here, we'll get what we want. And now I should be able to say followers. Let's see how many Amazon Alexa has, because this should also work with Alexa's data, right? What did we get? Another error? Invalid JSON response. Because it only got a J? Let's take a look at what's happening here. So if we go into this get Twitch followers, console.log username, let's try that one more time. Good morning, Jeff Nunn. Happy Monday to you too, sir. So we still have an issue, which is fine, because I guess I would expect that since I didn't fix anything. And followers, I pass that in, and then Lord of Sound is here. W. Giorgio. It's a good crowd this morning. I don't even see username in there. Invalid JSON response. That's fine. Username it thinks is J. Why does it think it's J? Well, I'm passing in context.username. Context.username. But that's not actually what I want. Okay, that's part of my issue. Okay, so I don't want to actually just pass in context.username. What I want to do is pass in const username equals command name dot two lowercase dot replace, and I want to replace out the followers part, and there has to be a space there, so I should enforce that rule here too. Replace followers like so. You don't have to. I think you're talking about this here. You don't have to. What this thing does is it deconstructs an object. So if I was passing something in, it would pull out the username property. If I pass like an entire object, this would basically deconstruct the object and put username out of the args object if it existed. But that's not actually what I'm doing. In fact, I could change all of this to be like username and username. And I don't even really need this because I'm passing it in, so we can simplify a little bit. Because I'm never changing this. I don't like to change the parameters that are passed in, which I do right there. I think that's why I did it. So that's kind of the purpose of that. But the thing that I need to do here is replace the follower space. And then maybe this will work. Let's see. No, Alexa still doesn't like something I'm doing. Although I didn't get any errors there. I don't see Alexa's response though. I only see Jeff Blankenbot's response. Why is that happening? We're getting the message. I'm not getting any errors. That's the weird part right now. So I pass in, oh, because I'm not passing anything. Yeah, but if I'm not passing anything in, this should be that. Let's see if that does anything. That's so weird that I'm not getting an error, though. It should say something like, you didn't pass arguments or something. Why are there no errors, but no activity? So I have my username, which is the trim part. What if we do like this? Followers, Jeff Blankenburg. what happens over here? I'm just returning. I'm just returning this value. What do I do in other cases where I have... Where else have I done this where I would have an example that works? So let's go look at the dev tip skill. Let's go look at like some of the Airtable stuff maybe. Get news. Maybe it's just that I need a return statement in there? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Return, return, return. What if I just do... No. This seems like it should just work. Not sure what I'm doing wrong right now, but... we'll take it one step further and just make sure we're getting a message. So I could do this and this. This is follower speech. We've broken something else. Did I lose a... No. Parentheses. Then I must have deleted a parentheses maybe? Like that? Yeah. Okay. Let's try it one more time. I don't understand what's happening, but username is you. What in the world? Oh, we weren't even in the right place. Okay. This is a weird vibe I'm getting here. Like this should be doing something where like I don't know. I feel like I should be getting an error of some kind, and I'm just not. We're gonna do getting followers. That's fine. Nope. There. I mean I should at least be able to see that. That should happen every time. And yet we don't see it. I think the space was my issue. this way instead. I think that was my issue. Okay, so I can understand now why this wasn't happening, because I wasn't putting a trailing space at the end. And we're getting an issue again, at least. Okay, so I think it thinks we're getting followers. That's great. I don't need this anymore. So the issue was I wasn't even getting into the block. That's solved. Now we need to look at this function and see what it is that could be going wrong here. So somewhere along the line, we're getting a username of u. Do you think it's that? Maybe because I sent in just a string, it's deconstructing. Thank you, Kevin, for reminding me to drink some water. Let's do that. Okay, so I think that was the issue. We're deconstructing because I'm only sending in a string. And now I save. And now it'll probably work, right? And there we go. @undefined currently has 128,968 followers. Yeah, so Jeff, I think the deconstruction was failing me because I was originally sending in like an entire arg set, but now I'm only sending in a string, and so when I deconstruct it, it's taking the first letter of the string as the deconstruction. So that backfired on me, and that was a valid question you asked earlier. It wasn't I don't think it was to debug. You were just asking out of curiosity, but that was actually my issue. So now we just think it's undefined, which shouldn't also happen, because I'm checking isNil is empty. Oh, so let's check that somehow I didn't pass in like nothing, and or not username. Let's see if that solves my issue, because now if it's undefined, we should also plug in Amazon Alexa. But what a brilliant username @undefined is. Username is not defined. Oh, because that's just going to bug me. Username is always one word, lowercase for me. Okay. Let's see if that gets us. Still getting undefined. Okay, I can be more explicit about this. How do you like me now? This should be working. It's just my if condition, I think. Now we're just not responding again. Is there an IO dash or loadout? I always call it IO dash. I don't know why. Is there a dot is undefined? Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, this is dumb. These are all dumb mistakes. Undefined currently has 128,000 followers. That's marvelous. Not what I'm asking you for. Yeah, we're going to look at it in just a second, but somehow we're getting undefined as our value. So it's... I don't understand how undefined could be passed. Oh, I see why. Because there's nothing... Because it's actually putting the value undefined in the string. I wonder if this would do it. username on like an actual string. Could that be the issue? That was the issue. It was passing the actual string undefined. Why would you do that? So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the string, I'm converting it to lowercase, I'm replacing underscore followers, which that happens to be the entire, because I did that. That's the issue. That's it right there. So I would bet now I could go back here and get rid of this. Like so. And that worked. Okay, so it was an issue with my replace statement. Amazon Alexa has 7,301 followers. My bot, Jeff Blankenbot, responded with, Jeff has 402 followers. I wonder if for the Amazon Alexa, I'm gonna tweak this up, add a little logic to it. So if username dot to lowercase equals Amazon Alexa, then username equals then we want to say return I currently have our followers on Twitch. Otherwise, we're going to return username currently has our followers. That's kind of a nice little tweak. Let her speak for herself. So I can say now, if I say followers like that, I currently have 7,302 followers on Twitch. But if I say followers JB Nunn, JB Nunn currently has 128 followers. I should say on Twitch every time. On Twitch. Okay. So that's now working, and I've cleaned it up a little bit. I think I also don't want to reply. I don't think I want to reply with your username. Is that important? Do you guys think that's important? You can see how when it's replying, like I actually say what your username is, like I'm actually replying to you. Do I need to do that? Or could I just say JB Nunn currently has 128 followers? Yeah, it's adding the @ too, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so like I'm putting that whole thing there. So I could say this instead, is what you guys are getting at. Get rid of this piece here and just do follower text so that it looks like that. And then when I say followers, W Giorgio, oh, spell it wrong. Followers, W Giorgio, 35 followers. So it just replies with the answer rather than also putting my name in there, which is probably fine. And then if I just say followers, that might be okay. That looks better. I mean, it's more readable for you, but for the person that is talking, it's nice to be able to see their name there because it highlights it for you and whatever. But I'll leave it off. That's fine. We can always add it better. Add it back another time. Okay, so all right. So followers is working. Hopefully we'll be able to do age the same way. And I don't know. Do you guys want to use age, or should it be something else? It could we could do like a, I don't know, like a how old. Age is nice and short though, and that would, the age that we're using currently on my chatbot is for how long has someone been on Twitch, right? So if I say age JB Nunn, 5 years 7 months. Oh my gosh, Jeff Nunn, I think we joined at almost the same time. If I say age 5 years 8 months, we joined very closely, but obviously we didn't even know each other 5 years ago, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if there was some motivating factor for us 5 years ago where we were like, man, I should really join Twitch. But see, it's this kind of useful, like, hey, I wonder how long someone's been on Twitch or whatever. Like, this is probably some game. Old enough, W. Giorgio. Yeah, I hear you, man. By the way, I made a declaration over the weekend. It was Father's Day weekend. And happy Father's Day to all of you. Slightly belated. But one of the things that I declared over the weekend is that this year has been bad enough that it doesn't count. And so I'm supposed to turn 44 a month from today, July 22nd. Happens to be the day of Alexa Live. But because this year's been so terrible, it doesn't count, and I will continue to be 43 until 2021. So I just want to let you guys know you have the ability to do that as well. Yeah. So just want to let you guys all know that that's not happening this year. I mean, I'll have a birthday. I'd like the celebration and the get together and all that stuff, but no need to tack on another year. Okay, so I have a couple of other thoughts on things we could do with this, because I have, what's the right way to do this? I have my chatbot returning this. I have this function, get Twitch followers, returning the speech. I'm starting to think that maybe I don't want to do that. And instead what I should do is have it actually just get the Twitch follower count, which is this R value, and do this stuff here. Because then I can actually decide what the speech is going to be, and then I can use that function for other things too. Because one of the things that I'd like to do is a Twitch command, like this. And then if you were to say Twitch, it could say all the stuff. But you could have the individual commands too if you just want to know how long someone's been on or whatever. But Twitch would give you both, or a summary of a whole bunch of things that might be going on. Maybe I can build other things around your Twitch data that are like how many videos you've posted, or how many hours you've streamed, or who knows. I don't know what all the answers are, but that feels like a thing. So let's think about that. If I look at what I'm doing here in the get Twitch followers, all I'm doing is making a specific statement, but I could do this somewhere else. And this could become a very simple function. If I take this out, I think I can just do that. I don't know that this is what I'm going to do. We're just trying something. So I get my followers, I trim off followers, I pass in a username. We can call this follower count. And then my it's a bunch of nonsense I just copied out of there. We'll do something like this. we'll say this is going to be follower count now. Just trying out an idea. I'd love opinions if you guys have opinions on this. If yeah, I almost need this whole piece of logic out there too, which is this. But I can leave it here, but I should also do it out there. Double checks never hurt. So follower, so I need username, then I need this statement, which means that it can't be const. This needs to be a let. So let username equal that value. If it's nil or empty or undefined, do I have LO dash in here? I don't. So I'll have to do that. And then down here, I call follower count and I get my response. And I don't need this. And then I say username currently has follower count followers on Twitch. If their username, which would have already been lowercase, so I don't need to do this twice. If username equals Amazon Alexa, then I currently have follower count. Followers on Twitch, and then we say follower text. So this needs to be like that. That might just work. So now if I say I currently have 7,302 followers on Twitch. Jeff Blankenburg currently has 402, and that's because I have both those bots running. So if I say followers JB None, Alexa responds with, has 128 followers on Twitch, which is exactly how I want that to work. Okay, so we're good. So now we have the ability to do, and I think that I will then break this out into something else. So these then become, I don't think these are commands anymore. This now becomes something else that I don't want to name yet. But then we're going to take another else if, and maybe we should, I think now that I'm wrapped up in this if statement, I don't really want to use it this way anymore. So we're going to say command name equals message.trim. Boy, this is tricky. How do I build a switch statement where I basically want to look at the first word separated by a space. I could use space as a delimiter, so I could set up an array. Yeah, maybe we could do that. So I could say const command name message.trim. I don't even know that that's super important. But then we could say const message array no, it's not a command array, it's a message array, equals command name, and so command name is misleading too. So this needs to be const message equals message.trim. Then this needs to become message dot split, and we're going to do it on spaces. And then I could say command name, this is going to be message array 0. This might actually be pretty handy. Then we're going to do a switch statement. So we're going to say switch message array 0. And in doing so, we are going to then say the first case is Alexa. Break. Case 2 is followers. And for now, so if the case is Alexa, that's where we're going to do all of this. Man, this stuff needs to be kicked out because I really want to keep this file nice and tight. So this is going to become, let's take all of this. And this is where command should be. So I should say, well, what I want to do is something really, really simple and straightforward. So it should look like this: client.say and this is the target, which I believe is up here further. Target. And this is going to be, do I have 2 lines? I probably have 2 lines. Const message equals await command dot Alexa. I don't know what I'm passing in there yet. We'll have to figure that out. And then this is just going to be message. What I'm trying to do is boil this down as simply as I can so that I have this file look a lot like the index that we use for this, right? In this case, I have an if case for each one of these handlers, but really what I'm doing is it's a switch statement based on these conditions, and then I'm just returning the result of a handler. So I want to do the same thing here, except the results of my handlers are going to be a string. It's going to be the chat response text, because I don't have to go through the Alexa engine and all the other stuff. So in this case right here, I would say, when I first started setting this up, this Twitch bot, did I follow a tutorial? Kind of. The way that I got into this initially, and the way that I discovered the tmi.js library, was 2 things. I went to glitch.com, and in here they have somewhere glitch for devs. I'll post this link for you in just a second. Maybe it's new project. No, it's none of those, so let's start coding. No, I don't want that. Go away. Is there starters for all developers, platform starters, Twitch dev, code samples and projects for Twitch extensions, API, and other things. This probably is where I went. And then in here, I think their featured project is the chatbot. No, Twitch chatbot is right here. Yeah, and this basically builds up the project for me, but the thing that I quickly discovered looking at this, whenever this starts up, is that it's basically just using this tmi.js library to create an IRC WebSocket connection. That's all it really is, and then at that point, I'm just receiving whatever you guys type, and I can parse and use that however I'd like. So I don't know why this is taking so long, but this is the place that I would start because it gets it set up and running. You don't have to worry about like configuring an environment and running Node and doing all of that stuff. You can just use their tool to build out a chatbot. And so like the reason that I have a dice roller is a remnant of this, right? I kept the dice roller from this original glitch chatbot that I created And that's kind of where I started WJojo. So that's where I would go, and you can see the URLs right here. glitch.com/tilde twitch.chatbot, and it'll start one for you. They also have this weird like screensavers, you just roll over stuff. But that's where that came from. So what I want to do is make a call to something called command.alexa. I'm going to paste some stuff in. I feel like I need to just put this here just so I don't lose it. That's a lot of code to lose. So we'll just drop it here like this. And then we can see what we really need to pass in, which looks like the command, the context, and we'll have to figure that out. So I can keep that on my clipboard. We want to be able to call command.alexa. So I'm going to rename this folder. Rename. Should be command. That also means that up here, oh, it fixed it for me automatically. That's wonderful. So I need to do, if I look in my command folder, I need a new one. Get Twitch followers probably isn't going to live here. I'll leave it there for now. But we're going to create a new file called alexa.js. And this is going to be some function, probably async function Alexa with something passed in that I don't know yet. And then we need to do a module .exports equals Alexa. So that's fun. And in here is where all the work is going to happen. So we'll take all of that and we'll comment it for now. And then we also need to open this index file. And again, we'll leave get Twitch followers there, but I don't know what I'm going to call that. That needs to be something else, though. I probably should do that now, just so I don't get myself too deep in a hole. So I need to come up with get Twitch followers. That's going to be, because like I have Airtable stuff that's like call out and get data from my database, but that's not really what I care about here. This is more like external API, calls, data. I mean, I could easily just move it into Airtable. Airtable's become kind of my database place, but it should be something else. It should be we're just going to call it external. So we're going to call a folder called external. And in there, we'll create a file called index.js. And in here, we're going to say const get Twitch followers equals require get Twitch followers, like that. And then down at the bottom, module.exports equals, we'll have many things in here eventually. So we'll do get Twitch followers. Now the only thing we need to do, I think, is take this, move it into external, and everything should just start working, right? This is here and working. That's working. Okay, that's what I was looking for that to flip yellow on me. Okay, so now in the one place that I'm calling this, which is bot.js right now, I can change that to be external, and then the last piece to this is to add it. And we'll get to remove some of these things like handler. External. Okay, and so handler can go away because we're not using that in here. We're going to use that in the Alexa one. So these two lines should be like this. And I think I could probably could just do this. It'd be nice to do it in one line. Well, we'll find out here in a second. So I need to figure out what I need to pass in. So I have this target context message in self. At the most, that's what I need to pass to it. So let's look at what I really need in here. I have command name. That's the first thing that I need. Command name for the Alexa one. All I'm doing is trimming off. So I need the command. So what I need is the whole thing. And the whole thing, we called it message. So we're going to pass message in. And then we're going to pass in, I need command, that's up here, context.username. So I'm going to need the user's context. So we'll do context, because that is up here. That's good. So far, so good. Okay, context, and then down here, I have data. Where did data come from? Data is the thing that's passed into this, so that's good. I'll have that. And intent name, await handler, answer intent. That's great. I'll need to include that here. So we'll do const handlers. What did I call it? Handler. Handler equals require like so. And then if message out return. So if we take all of this and uncomment it, will it just work? I think we all know the answer to that question, but it's always fun to ask the question. And then for bot.js, we just have that one line. And now I have this at another place, so I can get rid of all this. So let's just save and see what happens. So if I look at the Alexa, no, I want my channel. And if I say, no, Alexa, who is Blankenburg? I get nothing. I get nothing. How many things did I break? Cannot find module get Twitch followers. Did I not fix that index file? So if we come into handler here, no, that's good. Command index, yeah, right there. How about if we do that? Alexa, who is Jeff Nunn? Cannot find module external. Looks like it's called external. Looks like there's an index in there. Where are you running into that issue? Get Twitch followers. Cannot find module get Twitch followers. I don't know who's looking for that, but it seems like it would be the Alexa bit. this one. And it's because I don't have external here. Nope, it's not. That's not where I do it, though. I do it here, right? But I don't even care about this right now. This can't be it. Could that be the issue that I'm having? Still doesn't like that. Can't find module external. Right here? Oh, because I didn't put it in the right place. Okay, how about now? Is it just that I put the folder in the wrong place? Alexa, who is none? Command name is not defined. Well, we're getting closer. Alexa.js. This is the stuff that we just moved in here. Command name is not the thing. Oh, we didn't add our parameters. Cool. That means we want our parameters. Message and context. I think that's all we have. So we'll do message, context. This becomes message. Save it up, running. Alexa, who is Jeffress? Now what? Lex is not defined. Well, of course it's not. We can do all of this stuff, all of this Lex stuff. Can go inside the Alexa one. And that means that AWS can probably go inside the Alexa one. I think that's the only place we're going to use that. So we've gotten rid of all that. That gets rid of the AWS requirements here because I don't need them. We're saved and running. Alexa, who is none? Cannot read property starts with of undefined. Oh, I just had something delivered. Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to need to be its own line, so we'll do this. Const message equals message. I think that's my issue. Alexa, who is none? Still no? Message is not defined. Ah, because I've named it that twice. We'll call this response. Cannot read property starts with of undefined. Line 47. The client.say doesn't like it when what is the message out you're trying to send? Jeff Nunn is part man, part cyborg. No. Alexa, who's none? Jeff Nunn is part man, part cyborg. He talks to robots. All of that looks good. Why are we not saying that? Response. Response. Response is undefined. What? Why? So we're not necessarily getting an error, it's just not working. What is answer intent doing? A lot of things. Talking to Airtable. It's getting the response back though, like all of that seems fine. So I'm able to message out this thing, and it says right here, message. It feels like an await issue, but I'm awaiting it. Command Alexa. Is it possible that I just wasn't returning the value? Alexa, who is not? No. I think I ran into this when I was playing this before, but it feels like there should be a way. Let's take a look at relax.posttext, because I think this is where I'm running into some async issues. What could be... Lex post text SDK example. Definitely doing this. This is more or less exactly what I'm doing. Thanks, Mr. Smoofy. I appreciate it, man. That was a lot of fun to do. I'd like to do more of that kind of stuff, where maybe it's a more formal presentation than like what I'm doing right now, which is digging through docs, trying to figure out what in the world I'm doing. The one of the real tricks I have, one of the challenges I really struggle with, is examples like this. I find this all the time, And I don't know why people think this is descriptive. Lex runtime.postText, right? This is exactly what we're doing. We go inside a callback function when the response comes back, and then we can do some stuff. But what I want to do is be able to get access to the results of this outside of this structure. And it just doesn't seem like it's very easy to do. But all the examples always show like logging something. Well, yeah, if I want to do something in here, that's great. But that's not what I want to do. I want to be able to return the value outside of this call, this entire call. And I never seem to be able to be successful with this. Maybe, can I do that? What do you think about that? Yeah, wait, it has no effect on that. That's what I thought. So, I don't know the answer here, but what I want to do is get the message that I've created inside of here out. I want to return it back to the... I don't know why I can't do this. We're going to figure it out. This is something that bothers me all the time. Returning a value from lex.postText. Yeah, that's my thought, is to wrap it in a promise, but I kind of thought that that's... But then I do this, and then instead of these, it's Is this what you're describing, Gold Zulu? Oh, I see. So you think like here? That will do what I need it to do. I hate this. I hate everything about this. But I'll do it. This is the magical step that I've been missing. That would be amazing. Okay. Alexa, who is none? Promise.resolve is not a function, probably because it's lowercase. I'm getting the message that I need, right? This line is happening. Yeah, this one we're not hitting. That's okay. Stream for Charities, sup? What's up? What's up with you? We're working on a chatbot here. What are you doing? I am trying to figure out why I can't get a response out of here. I thought that Gold Zulu had me solved. I was really optimistic that that was going to be the thing. But it does not seem like it's working. Stream for Charity is working on some ads. That's cool. This is technically a stream for charities. We donate all the money that's made by this channel and give it to a charity called Stir. It's the STIR Scholarship, and it's meant for young women that are looking to start college in a technology field. So how about that? Streaming for Charities right here. Okay. No, it's okay, Goldzulu. It's not an issue. So what I'm doing is I have this bot file, and all I'm doing is calling command.alexa. So this is command.alexa, and in here I have a function, and I pass in message.context, and I basically build out a bunch of params, and then I call the Lex API using the AWS SDK. I call postText, and postText has a callback function. And what I'm trying to do is get the results of this postText call back here so that I can grab it. That's it. It doesn't feel complex, and it feels like this feels like a thing. I was thinking that I could just do what if I just do a straight up resolve? Like, will it let me do that? Or what if I don't return it? What if I just say promise.resolve? Would that get me home? Alexa, who is none? Yeah, we're still getting the issue that says I haven't gotten the value back. You think this return up here? Okay. What about taking the function out of the postText call? I mean, I suppose I could do that, but I'm still within the context of this call. So when I return, I'm still returning it into here. I need this thing to return, regardless of whether I kick that callback somewhere else or whatever. I think I still need this thing to kick it out of itself. And that's the thing that I'm struggling with. Put a return below, okay. Like so. We're saved. Alexa, who is none? Same issue, we're still not getting the data back. I mean, this is all doing what it needs to do. Well, the callback gets called automatically, because of the syntax we're using here. So when postText gets called, it calls out, does its thing. When it gets back, it just calls that function. But I'm not getting the data that I've created. This value message out has everything that it needs. It's done everything that it's supposed to do. I just can't get it out. This is honestly something that I've battled with for a few months in things that I've been building. And I run into this wall every once in a while, and I'm like, this is so dumb. But I've done like return message out, and it doesn't come out of here. Like, I need it to get out of this function. This Alexa function needs to be able to return it. I'm with you, Stream for Charities. And it's not a bug. This is very, very much a lack of knowledge on my part. This is an opportunity for me to be educated about how to do this. And I just haven't figured that out yet. We'll get there. We're gonna solve this. There's so much nuance to asynchronous coding that's really what we look into. So returning a value from lex.postText or resolving. We'll just So the question from W. Giorgio is, if you go to my bot, this is the main bot, right? So we come in and we get the message that comes in. So that's gotten here on message handler when a message comes in. And then the first thing that we do is say,
let's break this into an array and figure out what command we're trying to execute. In this case, it's an Alexa command. So Alexa, tell me about whatever. And then in here, I say command.alexa, and I passage the message that we want to use and any context that we need about the call. And then inside that Alexa function is here, message and context. So I want to trim some things down. I have some parameters. I call the Lex API, and then I get the data that I need, right? I get everything that I need. Everything here is working. It's just how do I get the value message out back up the chain to where I called it. That's all. That's the only piece that I'm missing here. You think I need to assign it to a variable? Okay. I can do that. Const. Lex results equals and then do I do a return here? Return Lex results. Well, I'll try it. I'll try anything at this point. I'll try the await here. Although it says specifically, there's no effect on this type of expression, but we'll do it, that's fine. Alexa, who is none? And we got the same thing. We still didn't get any value back. Oh, response. Response, where's response? We actually got something this time. That's good. Let's try that again. Alexa, who is none? Oh yeah, because we're just getting back the promise. Sorry, because it's in front of a function with async inside it, not outside it. Yeah. This seems like something that everybody has to have run into 1,000 times. I wonder if I could do it that way. Yeah, I wonder if I could do it like this. Const lex results equals lex.postText params dot then. Think I can do that? I do that. That kind of thing works here. I wonder if I could do something like that. Talk to me, W. Giorgio. What do you think the problem is? I mean, what if I just get rid of the async await here? That's not going to work. I feel so dumb sometimes. Like, this is one of those things that I can't even really find an answer from lex.posttext. No need to resolve. If you do that, the return below, if I just do this, so you think like this. Yeah, see, this is the path I was about to head down. I think this might be it. This is how I think I've solved this problem in the past. So we're just going to do something like this. New promise. Resolve, reject. Need a new curly down here. Like that. And then I think I can just do this, resolve. This is something that feels familiar to me. I like familiar. Let's go back and just see what we just did. Alexa, who is none? That works. Man, that was fast too. So wrapping it in a promise solves my problem. I have to keep this async because I'm making another asynchronous call inside here. But that is now working, which is great. Alexa, who is Jeff? Alexa, who is Blankenburg? This is working great. Now, did that stream for charities, did that cause an error? Al Deganar? Al Deganar, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the crew. Let's see. Oh, okay, Alexa, who's Jeff? Alexa, who's Jeff? Cool. Alexa, what is my IP? I can't do that. At least not currently. Alexa, test. What happens if I just do that? She just doesn't reply? Why doesn't she reply? Because if I look at this, oh, because if we don't hit the answer intent, then we don't do anything. Okay. So it's because if you don't hit my answer intent, which I'll be building this out to handle more situations, we will handle more things. I don't know that we'll have the purchase lube option stream for charities, but we will have some other intents that we looked at here. Like get news and personal info and things like that, although personal info is kind of going away. So our bot works for the Alexa commands. That's good. The ability now to do simple things like this. I want to trim this down. I wonder if I can do this now. Because it would be nice to just get these to one line. I don't know if that'll work or not, but we'll try. Alexa, who is none? Oh yeah, one line. Guys, we got it down to one line. That feels like a win today. I have 7 minutes left. So I can get the followers thing probably back working. But this needs to be all of this. And we put Alexa in a folder called command. So we need a new file in here called followers.js. And then this is going to be a async function followers username and then we need to do a module.exports equals followers. And then we need to add it to the index file. Excuse me. Okay. Stop it. Okay. Followers. And one more time. Come on. Okay. So that's good. Which means if we come back to the very beginning, to bot, we should be able to say this exact same thing, calling just a different method. This makes this page so nice and clean. Commands.followers, and I have message and I have context. I don't really need any of that. All I need is context.username. That's the only thing I'm passing into followers. Followers gets, don't need this. No, I did it wrong again. This is the same thing that I did before. I just want to pass in message. And because it's not the user's username, I want to check the followers of the person that they've indicated. So in this case, let username, if it's not anything, then it'll be Alexa, get their follower count. This might go. We need external to be included. Let's see, we need, this needs to be message. So this, we need const external equals require external. I think that's all we need. Let's see. Followers. I broke it. What did I break? Under, oh, I need low dash also. Okay. That's fair. That's fair, that's fair. And that probably means I don't need it here now. I don't think I need external or low dash here. How do you like me now? Client is not defined on followers.js. Oh, because we just want to return that value now. We don't want to say it. Followers. Yeah, there we go. So now Alexa says, I currently have 7,303 followers on Twitch. And then the Jeff Blankenbot replies with 403. We're doing it, man. We are continuing to grow, Goldzulu. And 500 is going to be here before we know it. And at that point, I've got X-Wing helmets to wear. I've got Funko Pops to give away. This thing is still sitting here desperate to get out. Stream for Charities drops a follow. Man, I'm looking forward to 500. We're gonna have a party. I don't know exactly what else we need to do. I feel like maybe we should have some kind of big event. But 500 feels like a good number. And then the next one we got to look at is 1,000. How do we get to 1,000? The other thing that I really need to focus on, though, is the number of people actually tuning in. For those of you that don't know, there are some specific, more cleavage. I could like undo another button, maybe. I don't know if that gets you anything. One of the things that is required in order to get to partner on Twitch is to have 75 viewers on average. It's a huge number, really, really challenging to get to. I'm meeting all of the other requirements, which are, I think you have to you have to stream on 12 different days every month, and you have to stream for a total of 24 hours or more per month. Those are no problem. I have no issue hitting those numbers. But having on average 75 viewers, that one's tough. We hover between like 13 and 18 most of the time, which is great. I love that you all are here, but in order to get to partner, those are the things that we're going to have to continue to grow. I have calls starting, running late, 5 minutes. So lots and lots of other stuff to do. I think we will continue to work on the engagement side of the channel. I know that we started building a sound effects engine and some other things like that. That stuff is all still coming. So I think that might be our next focus. But that's this is where we're at. This is what we're looking for. So I do share all of the source. In fact, we can do that right now. So I have GitHub sitting right here. We'll say refactored entire bot added followers command. So you can find this on my GitHub, Stream for Charities, and the way to do that is I can just show you the URL to this. It's right here. And maybe that's the source for this one, Stream for Charities. But there's also, if we're looking at my repositories, there's a number of them. There's also the Jeff Blankenbot, which does some other funky stuff. And the Alexa DevTip skill that we've built. But there's all sorts of repositories. Most of them are around Alexa development, so you'll find lots and lots of that. But these two specifically, Jeff Blankenbot and Alexa Chatbot, do a bunch of cool, interesting stuff, and you can check those out here on my GitHub. So have fun with that. Goldzulu says, allow users to specify what to say when someone asks, for instance, who is Goldzulu? And users like you can upload a JSON object, sanitized, to say who I am. Yeah, I think the big piece, Goldzulu, for me, and I'm down for all of that. I think giving you guys a bigger role in this is important to me because I'm about building a community. This is not about me. I'm doing it because I would be writing code anyway, and why not do it as a group? But I think that I need to figure out what the approval process looks like. How do we get certain people permission? I have mods, right? Maybe those are the right people. But we have those people approve and disapprove things. I agree with you, Goldzulu. I just think that BeginBot has been building that stuff for what seems like a while. He has a very robust system for managing and maintaining a lot of that data, and I need to figure out how to do that in an effective way. So without just going in and like stealing all of his code, I want to figure out how to do this my way, in a way that makes sense for what we're trying to do here. So yes, I agree. I think that BeginBot has a lot of very, very cool things that he's doing, and I'm trying not to just duplicate all of his features, but pick the things that make sense and that we want to engage with, and then figure out how to build those. Because I think a lot of the fun is in the construction. So, okay, I think we're good for now. Our code is done for today. We have gotten the followers action built into the chatbot, which is really, really cool. I think the age one will come along, the Twitch one will come along, which kind of combines the two. Now we have the ability to do that. So lots of fun to be had, but I am over time. I have other meetings to get to. As I mentioned, I'm literally booked up every minute between now and 7 p.m. today. So no stopping, but I have to run out and somehow grab a sandwich from the kitchen before I get back here for another meeting at 12:30. So I'll see you guys all soon. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and thank you everyone for being